Hi, my dear students. Since last couple of days, we were discussing about how to deal with dynamic econometric model. As you know, the dynamic econometric model is an econometric model where we will use the lagged values of either independent variable or dependent variable or both as an additional explanatory variable. So when we include such kind of variable in our model, the usual OLS cannot be directly applied since it violates some of the assumptions of regressions or classical linear regression model. So as an alternative to the OLS procedure, we discuss some of the methods like Koyak model, adaptive expectation model, and partial adjustment model. So if you look at these three models, we will get some. Actually, this Koyak model is basically a mathematical model or purely algebraic models, and this adaptive expectation model and Koyak partial adjustment model are the theoretical model that rationalize this Koyak mathematical treatment or algebraic treatment by giving some economic content or theoretical content. Okay, so if we look at the Koyak model, the equation look like yt is equal to alpha 1 minus lambda plus beta 0 xt plus lambda yt minus 1 plus ut minus lambda ut minus 1. Current value of yt depends on, look at this intercept. We have more than one intercept. That means in intercept there are more than one parameters. Okay, alpha 1 minus lambda, so alpha and lambda are the two parameters. Similarly, if you look at this yt minus 1, this yt minus 1 is nothing but the lag dependent variable. Okay, so the lag dependent variable is appearing as an additional explanatory variable, and if you look at this error terms, error term is also a combination of different variables. It is ut minus lambda ut minus 1. Okay, so in these equations we are having an intercept, then we are having beta 0 immediate effect, then we are having the past effect or lagged effect of the dependent variable, and we are having an error term. Similarly, if you look at the adaptive expectation model, here also the same pattern of equation we can see. If you look at these equations, earlier we had alpha into 1 minus lambda as intercept, but here we are having gamma beta 0 as the intercept. And if you look at this beta 0 xt, instead of this beta 0 xt we are having gamma beta 1 xt. Okay, and the one thing is common here. Here also the lag dependent variable is appearing as an additional explanatory variables, but the intercept is the parameter is slightly different, or the coefficient is slightly different. Here the coefficient is 1 minus gamma. Earlier it was only lambda. Okay, so lambda is nothing but the what do you call the decline ratio, the ratio the rate of decay. Here the gamma is nothing but adjustment. What adjustment? Adaptive or expectation coefficient. Okay, and here also if you look at this error term is a combination of different things, that is ut minus 1 minus gamma ut minus 1. If you look at the partial adjustment model, here also you can see the similar pattern. Yt delta beta 0 plus delta beta 1 xt plus 1 minus delta yt minus 1 plus an error term but it's not a combination, but the error term is much simpler than that of the Koyak and adaptive expectation model. Okay, so if you look at all these three models, we can see that in the first model, it was an infinite lagged distributed model, but we have converted this model into a three variable autoregressive model. Okay, that was the main contribution by Koyak. Okay, then adaptive expectation, what they have done, they have taken the similar idea of Koyak, okay, but they are giving some empirical or economic content to this Koyak models. Similarly, partial adjustment model also they have brought uh, the adjustment coefficients into the models. Okay, and overall, if you look at the three equation, both equation will consist of yt plus intercept plus slope coefficient into xt plus a coefficient which is multiplied by lagged yt minus 1 or lagged yt plus an error term. Okay, so this is what is called an autoregressive model. Okay, so if you compare these three models, if you make a comparison among these three models, we can see that, as I told you, Koyak, what is the contribution of Koyak? Koyak has done or converted an infinite lag model into three variable models. Okay, then adaptive expectation and a partial adjustment model both are rationalized this Koyak model. Okay, but this adaptive expectation model as well as this PAM partial adjustment model, conceptually these models are different. Both models are built on the base of different concepts and different ideas. Okay, adaptive expectation model is based on the assumption that people are forward looking and their decision is based on their past experience and the past mistakes committed. This is what is called the adaptive expectation hypothesis. People will make decisions on the basis of their experiences in the past. Okay, whereas if you look at this partial adjustment model, it is based on certain principle like habit or inertia. Okay, so this partial adjustment model is based on habit or inertia. But if you compare these two models, AEM and PAM, with Koyak model, we can say that Koyak is not having a theoretical background, but these two models are having a good theoretical background, and that's why this model become much sounder than this Koyak model. Okay, and if you look at all, if you compare all this model, and you may have a question, which model is better model? Okay, so if you ask me a question, which model is better model, I don't have an answer, proper answer, because adaptive expectation model and partial adjustment model both are theoretically and conceptually different. Okay, so in your model, if you're assuming a forward-looking consumer or forward-looking individuals who make some decision on the basis of his past experience, okay, then adaptive expectation model will become better. Or in your model, if there is any scope for adjustment coefficients, then the partial adjustment model will much better for you. Okay, but if you just simply look at these three models, then we can see that the partial adjustment model resembles both the Koyak and adaptive expectation model in a sense that its disturbance term is much simpler than the two models. Okay, so this partial adjustment model include both idea of Koyak and adaptive expectation model. Okay, and this is autoregressive also, and the one advantage of this PAM over AE and Koyak model is its error term is much simpler than this AE and QUAC. Okay. Yes. Now we come to the problem with this model. All, as I told you, all these models are looking same, and all these models are built on a single theoretical framework. QUAC has built some model, and this AE and PE model are built on base of this QUAC idea. Okay, so what are the problems with this QUAC model? This QUAC model is not free from limitations. It has a lots of limitations. Or all this model having limitation. The first limitation is, if you look at the error terms, actually all these model are started from an original model. Okay, in this original model, the error term was U. But when you convert this model into a AEM, PEM or QUAC model, its error terms become more complex or more composite. Okay, so when we discuss about QUAC model, we started with the infinite lag distributed models. There we had an error term called to U. But if you look at this model, what you can see, here we don't have U, instead we are having ut minus lambda ut minus 1. That is the error terms. Okay, and we call this U as a Vt. This ut as this bigger term is called as a Vt. Similarly, if we look at this adaptive expression model, here also we have started with an equations. In that equation we had a ut, but when we finally derive this model, we don't have ut. Instead, we are having ut minus 1 minus gamma into ut minus 1. We call it as a Vt. It's a composite ut or composite error terms. Similarly, in partial adjustment model also we don't have ut. Instead, we are having delta ut minus 1. Delta ut. Okay, so what's the problem with this? So in original model, there is a ut. This ut may satisfy almost all the assumptions of ordinary least square method. Okay, so there are basically three assumptions that is related to error term. The first one is the mean value of u should be 0. There must be homoscedasticity, and there should not be a serial correlation. Okay, yes. So ut may satisfy all these assumptions, but the newly constructed error term, or what we call the composite error term, or Vt, may not satisfy these classical assumptions. Okay, because in this new model AEM and PAM, we don't have a ut. Instead, we are having ut multiplied by something, or ut subtracted by something, or ut multiplied by something. Okay, so we don't have a single ut. Instead, we are having a composite ut, and that's why this error term in the new equation like QUAC, PAM and AEM may not satisfy the classical assumptions. That's the most important problem with this. Okay, yes. The second issue is, if you look at all the models, a new term has been entered into the model. What is the term? Yt minus 1. Yt minus 1 was the new term entered into all equations. Okay, so if we start in all equations, we started with a distributed lag model but end up with a autoregressive model. Okay, so in all equation, a new term of the lag dependent variable yt minus 1 is appeared. Okay, but the problem is we had an assumption. What are the assumptions? The exponential variable must be either be non-stochastic, and if it is stochastic, they must be distributed independently of the error terms. Okay, that is what this means is the error term and the exponential variable should be uncorrelated. That means the error terms and the exponential variable should be distributed independently. Okay, so what's the problem with this? if an explanatory variable in a regression model is correlated with the stochastic disturbance terms. So I will tell you, yt is depends on, or yt is a function of xt, yt minus 1 and ut. Okay, so we had an assumption was yt depends on ut. Okay, ut will affect yt. Okay, where the xt, that means the explanatory variable xt, similarly in this equation we are having yt minus 1, both will not affect ut and ut will not influence xt and yt minus 1. That was the assumption. Okay, that means independent variable and error term should be uncorrelated. Okay, but if you look at, if yt depends on ut, then ut may also influence the past yt. That's why we are saying that there must be, or there will be, a correlation between error terms and yt minus 1. Okay, so this is what what's called stochastic problem, or stochastic non-stochastic assumptions. Okay, so if this is the issue, or if this is the case, then what's the problem? The problem is the estimators are not only biased but also not even consistent. Okay, so estimators will be biased as well as inconsistent. So this is the major issue with OLS. If we are using OLS into, or if you are applying OLS into an equation which contain an explanatory variable that is not stochastic, or that is the lagged value of your dependent variables, then the result obtained will be biased and the result obtained will be inconsistent. Okay, so this is the issue with the COIAG adaptive expectation model as well as partial adjustment model. Then the third problem is the second problem. Okay, the third problem is what? When we discuss about the Durbin-Watson statistics, we said that the Durbin-Watson statistic is based on one assumption. The assumption was the regression model does not include the lag dependent variables. That means the lag dependent, the Durbin and Watson, they assume the absence of lag dependent variable as an independent variables. There is no presence of lag dependent variable in explanatory variable. Okay. Okay. So what's the problems with this? The problem is in the case of, if we include yt minus 1 in our equation, and if we estimate this Durbin-Watson D statistics, okay, this Durbin-Watson statistic will be always approached to the value of 2. If we include yt minus 1 in our equation as an explanatory variable, then the issue that the Durbin-Watson D statistics will be always very close to 2. And if it is 2, what's the issue? We will conclude that there is not a correlation. Even though there is autocorrelation, we have to conclude that there is no autocorrelation, because in the presence of yt minus 1, the value of d will always very close to 2. Okay, so that is why we cannot apply the Durbin-Watson statistics in order to understand whether there's a problem of autocorrelation or not in our regression model. Okay, so we have discussed three problems with this model. First issue is what? The error terms, the composite error term Vt may not satisfy the assumptions of OLS. Second one, the ut and yt minus 1 may be correlated. It will lead to unbiased as well as inconsistent result. Third issue is we cannot apply DW test. Okay, so this is the most important things or reasons, and that's why we usually call, even though this model look like elegant, it has certain estimation problems. Okay, yes. So what is the alternatives? We have told that there is a problem with those Euler's. Then how we can estimate this kind of a model? So in econometric methodology, there is a method called instrumental variable method, or what is called IV method. So certain econometrician, they suggested to use this IV method. Okay, so what is this IV method? IV method is nothing but a method that will help to remove the correlation between yt minus 1 and ut. And we are applying Euler's. Okay, so instrumental variable method is not a new method, but it is a correction in Euler's method. What is the correction? It's a method that will describe you a thing, and this thing will replace, or this thing will remove the correlation between ut and the yt minus 1. Okay, so what is this method? This method is very simple. The method is they are suggesting to use a proxy variable. Okay, what is proxy? So the proxy was suggested by Leviathan, and he suggested instead of yt minus 1, use xt minus 1, and he empirically as well as theoretically proved that yt xt minus 1 is the best proxy for yt minus 1. So instead of yt minus 1, you put a proxy or another variable or alternative variable called xt minus 1. You take the, so our equation will be yt is equal to intercept plus beta xt plus beta 1 xt minus 1 plus ut. Okay, so if we use xt minus 1 instead of yt minus 1 in our equation and simply run the Euler's, it will be called a method of instrumental variables. But the question is, if we include this xt minus 1 instead of yt minus 1, is the problem is solved? Does the problem will end? No. The thing is that xt, we are including xt and xt minus 1. Okay, so xt and xt minus 1, there will be highly linear correlation. Okay, so what's the issue? If there's a high correlation between two or more independent variables in an equation, it will be leads to multicollinearity. So multicollinearity will make the estimation as well as the hypothesis testing is very difficult. Okay, so even though this multicollinearity is not perfect, if it is perfect, then we cannot estimate the models. If it is less than perfect, still we can estimate the problem, but there will be a problem with this evaluation or hypothesis testing. Okay, yes. And actually this Leviathan, he proved that if we use xt minus 1 for yt minus 1s, the estimate will be consistent. Okay, but many other econometricians, they have proved that the Leviathan procedure, even though it yields consistent estimates, it is not efficient estimator. The estimator will not be efficient. Okay, so this is about Leviathan procedure or instrumental variable method. Now the issue is that, as I told you before, we cannot apply a JW test for detecting autocorrelation problem in dynamic model. Okay, so what we do? So Durbin suggested, in the presence of dynamic econometric model or in the presence of lag dependent variable as an independent variables, he proposed an alternative test to DW test. This test is called a Durbin-H test. Durbin-H test. Okay, so you consider a model called yt is equal to alpha 0 plus alpha 1 xt plus alpha 2 yt 1 plus vt. Okay, in this model there is a variable called yt minus 1. We cannot use DW test to detect the autocorrelation problem. Okay, so what he did, he defined H as H is equal to rho cap into n divided by 1 minus n into variance of alpha cap 2. Okay, so by considering the coefficient of yt minus 1, okay, he developed a new method or alternative method to DW test. Okay, so in this test will be applicable only if the n into variance of alpha cap 2 is greater than 1. Okay, so this value will also lies in between -4 and 0. Okay, if it is minus, if it is, sorry, 4 and 0, okay, 0 means positive correlation, 2 means no correlation, autocorrelation, and 4 means negative autocorrelation. Okay, so but there are certain problem with this test. Okay, because many econometricians empirically prove that this test is a large sample test. That means it will be applicable, or it will be you will get a consistent result only if your sample size is very large. Okay, so in small sample size, uh, in small sample size, it is better to go for a more powerful test, a more other test called the BG test, Bruce-Gottfried test. Okay, so many econometricians suggested to go for Bruce and Gottfried test. Okay, so that's a very good test, especially when you have uh, more than one order or first order autoregressive process. Okay, so that's all about today's sessions, and in the next session we will discuss about this Allman polynomial distributed lag model. Okay, yes, thank you.